She told me it was a girls' only lake weekend but forgot to block me on her friend's story. I watched her slide into a hot tub with her ex-boyfriend. When I showed her the proof, she laughed in my face. Grow up. Catching up with an old friend isn't illegal. I didn't argue. I made one single move that turned her world upside down. She hasn't stopped blowing up my phone since. Now it's all begging and please help me. Life throws you wild punches sometimes. One minute you're picking out wedding cakes, the next you're picking up the pieces of your life. That's where I am right now. 36'd, I'm sitting in my quiet condo with a half-drunk beer. Still processing how fast everything exploded. It's been roughly 28 hours since it all went to hell. Let me start from the beginning. My fiancée Emily, 32F, and I have been together 4 years, engaged for 1. Our October wedding was fully booked, venue secured, deposits paid, save the dates mailed. We lived in the condo I bought years before we met. She moved in 2 years ago. Last Thursday, she announced she was heading out for a girls' weekend at a lake house with her college crew. Lauren, Sarah, and Brooke. They do these trips a couple times a year. Nothing unusual. She packed Thursday night, kissed me goodbye Friday morning and said, "Back Sunday night, don't wait up." I thought nothing of it. Saturday evening, I was mindlessly scrolling Instagram when Lauren posted a string of stories. Lake sunset, cocktails, typical stuff. Then came a video of the back deck hot tub. There was Emily in a bikini, climbing in next to a guy. Not just any guy, Derek. Her ex from 7 years ago. The 2-year relationship she always swore was long dead. I replayed the 5-second clip at least 20 times. In the background, Lauren's voice, "You two look real comfortable." Then poof, the story vanished. Lauren must have realized I could see it and deleted it. Too late. I screenshotted it, grainy, but clear enough. I didn't text, didn't call. I waited. Sunday 9 p.m. Emily walks in glowing, tanned, happy, drops her bag, hugs me. Miss me? The girls were insane this weekend. I stayed calm, pulled out my phone, opened the screenshot, and handed it to her. Her smile faded. Confusion, then recognition, then irritation. "You're creeping on my friend's stories now?" I follow Lauren. She posted it publicly. "Why was Derek at your girls' weekend?" She rolled her eyes. "He lives 20 minutes from the lake. We bumped into him in town and invited him back for drinks. It's not a big deal. You said it was girls only. That's a lie. It was girls only. He just came over." "For how long?" "A beat. Saturday." "The whole day? Did he spend the night?" Her jaw tightened. "So what if he did? We're still friends. Grow up, Ryan. It's not illegal to talk to someone from your past." That word, talk, hung in the air. "Did you sleep with him?" She laughed, not nervously, like I was a child. "You're being pathetic right now. This jealous thing isn't cute." She tried to brush past me. I didn't stop her physically, just said, "Answer the question." She spun around. "Nothing happened that you need to worry about. We're getting married in 3 months. You think I'd throw that away over Derek? Trust me for once." Classic non-answer. A strange calm washed over me. "Show me your phone." "Excuse me? Your phone. Unlock it." "No way. I'm not feeding this controlling bullshit." I nodded slowly. "Then we're done. Engagement over. Relationship over." She actually laughed again. "You're ending 4 years because I hung out with an old friend and you're insecure? Grow up. Not because you hung out. Because you lied. Because you won't be honest now. Because this stopped being a team a long time ago." The laughter died. You're overreacting. Sleep on it. We'll talk when you're rational. Nothing to talk about. I'll be in the guest room. Start looking for somewhere else to live tomorrow. That's when it hit her I was serious. You can't just kick me out. I've lived here 2 years. I have rights. My name's on the deed and mortgage. You've never paid a dime toward either. You have tenant rights, 30 days notice, which I'll give you legally. The tears came then, loud, furious ones. You're insane. Nothing happened. Even if something did, it was just physical. It wouldn't mean anything. There it was. The slip dressed as a defense. I didn't respond. Walked to the guest room, locked the door, put on music to block her screaming. Monday morning I was up at 5:30 a.m., long before her. I made one phone call and left for work. I also moved my half of our joint wedding savings account back to my personal account. That one call? The grenade. I called Emily's mom, Diane. Diane and I have always been close. She was already calling me her son-in-law and was thrilled about the wedding. I kept it simple. Diane, we have to cancel the wedding. Emily spent the weekend with her ex Derek instead of her girls' trip. She'll probably need a place to stay soon because she's moving out of my condo. No drama, no accusations, just facts. Then I hung up and went to work. By 9 a.m. my phone was on fire. Emily, what did you tell my mom? She's crying hysterically. She called Derek's mom. Do you have any idea what you just did? Answer me. This is unforgivable. Then the shift. Please call me. Polite begging. Ryan, I'm sorry. It was one mistake. Please don't throw us away. By noon. My mom is making me move home today. She's coming to pack my stuff. She's telling everyone the wedding is canceled. Tell her we're just taking a break. She found out Derek has a girlfriend, Kaylee. He swears nothing happened, but Mom doesn't believe him and is calling me a homewrecker. Please help me fix this. This is humiliating. I didn't reply to a single text. Got home from work, Diane's SUV in the driveway. Inside, Emily's clothes were in suitcases. Diane hugged me with tears in her eyes, apologized for her daughter, said I deserved better. Emily wouldn't meet my eyes, just kept loading boxes. As they were leaving, Diane turned to me. I already called the venue and photographer this morning. They're giving partial refunds. I'll handle the rest of the vendors. You've been through enough. Emily's head snapped up. You did what? Diane's face went stone cold. The wedding is off, Emily. You made sure of that. And you're not staying with us forever. 2 weeks to figure your life out. That was 2 nights ago. Since then, Emily has sent 47 texts and called 19 times. Latest ones. Derek is denying everything and won't speak to me. My friends are furious. Their boyfriends found out they lied for me. My mom is treating me like a teenager. Please tell everyone we're just on a break. I'll do anything. I haven't answered once. There's a weird peace in letting someone drown in the consequences they created. No revenge plot required. Just one phone call to the one person Emily couldn't lie to, her old school zero-tolerance mother. Update 1 week later. It's been 7 days since everything imploded, and the messages haven't fully stopped, but they've evolved in the most fascinating way. First phase. Rage. You had no right. This is unforgivable. Second phase. Desperation. One mistake shouldn't erase 4 years. Third phase. Bargaining. I blocked Derek on everything. I'll sign anything saying I have no claim to the condo. I'll pay back the wedding deposits. Current phase. Pure pity party. Mom is forcing me to apartment hunt today. The only places I can afford are in sketchy areas. Derek's girlfriend keeps posting couple pics knowing I'll see them. She's evil. I still haven't responded. Diane has been a machine canceling everything. Most deposits refunded except the photographer's $300 retainer and the venue's 25%, $1,100. Worth it. Diane also learned the full truth. Emily and Derek had been texting for months, meeting for coffee multiple times. Emily had even planned to invite him to our wedding to show him what he missed. The delusion is next leveled. I changed the locks. Legal once she voluntarily moved out, forwarded her mail to Diane's, removed her from my credit card. The condo finally feels like mine again. I sleep like a rock. Friends I hadn't seen in ages are back in my life. Friends Emily quietly pushed away. 2 days ago, Emily left an 8-page handwritten letter on my windshield. I read it, then tore it up. Her words don't move me anymore. Diane texted last night. She signed a lease. Moves in next week. Thank you for holding the line. It's the only way she'll grow up. The entitlement has been the real eye-opener. She truly believed she could do whatever she wanted because I'd always let her. That era is over with one phone call. Update 2: 1 month later month has passed and things are settling. This will probably be my final big update. Most asked question, was calling Diane petty? No. She had put money into the wedding and deserved the truth before Emily spun me as the villain. Diane's reaction was all her. I didn't script it. Emily's messages stopped about 2 weeks ago. Her last one actually showed a flicker of self-awareness. I know you'll never reply. I understand now. I'm sorry for everything. Goodbye. Felt like closure. From mutual friends, Emily's new apartment is tiny and in a rougher part of town. She picked up a second job because her influencer coordinator salary doesn't cover rent alone. When we were together, I paid the mortgage and big bills. She covered utilities and groceries. Reality hit hard. Derek ghosted her completely after the hot tub night blew up his own relationship. He stayed with Kaylee. The girls' trip group has fractured. 2 still talk to Emily. The others backed away when their own partners got suspicious. Diane returned every wedding gift with classy notes and even defended me to family who initially heard Emily's version. She dropped off a bottle of my favorite bourbon last week with a note. For the bullet you dodged. I'm hitting the gym, seeing friends, even went on a low-key date last weekend. Dinner with a woman who actually asked about my life. Refreshing. Lesson learned, watch patterns, not promises. Emily's pattern was selfishness dressed up as love. Never again. Final update 6 months later, half a year gone. I'm doing genuinely great. Better than I have in years. 0 direct contact with Emily. But word travels. The Ryan overreacted story collapsed when people learned she'd been secretly meeting Derek for a year. She's still struggling financially. Had to get a roommate and is begging friends for job hooks because her current role doesn't pay enough. About 4 months ago, she showed up at my door dressed up, holding wine, wanting closure. I spoke through a cracked door, told her to leave, and when she tried the foot in the door move, I warned I'd call the police. She left crying. Diane called the next day apologizing and said she'd handled it. The wedding money went into a full kitchen remodel and new master bath. Spaces that are 100% mine now that I'm dating casually, taking my time, enjoying my own company again. Emily made her bets assuming I'd either stay blind or forgive anything. She never expected I'd simply step back and let the truth do the work. 6 months later, I'm living life on my terms. And that feels better than any revenge ever could.